Hey, what's going on everyone? How's it going? It's Noon here and welcome back to another Sneak 2 video. And today in this video we're going to be talking about the new Ironbanner weapons. We're getting 2 new weapons with this season, or maybe I should call them reintroduced weapons since they're year 1 weapons used introduced into year 2 with random rolls. We're getting a fusion rifle, the Wizened Rebuke, and we're getting the single shot grenade launcher, the Orewing's Maul. Both of them excellent weapons in year 1 that a lot of people actually loved, including myself. The grenade launcher was my go-to for the longest and I love that thing. So today we're going to be taking a look at these 2 new weapons and we're going to be discussing the best rolls for them. What are the god rolls that you can get on these weapons and what are the perks that you should be looking out for these weapons. So without further ado, let's get started and we're going to be starting with the fusion rifle. The Wizened Rebuke is a high impact frame, meaning that it's a 95 impact, 860 charge time fusion rifle. Like the loaded question and like the errant tail, 2 of the big ones that you usually see in the Crucible, actually the only ones you really see in the Crucible, for a good reason. And that's because the high impact frame fusion rifles are used the most consistent and the ones that will give you the most one-shot kills. So it makes sense that those would be the ones that you see the most, and now we have another one to add to our collection. And what's really gonna make this fusion rifle shine, and the reason that you'll probably see it in the Crucible, is because its ability to get random rolls, and also the accessibility of getting those random rolls. Getting one of these fusion rifles to drop, it won't be as difficult as it would be getting something like a errant tail from the gunsmith with a perfect roll. But anyways, now let's actually get into the perks in the weapon, and we're gonna start with the sight. We have 4 different sight options. The first one is the clean shot, the second one is the hit mark, which is gonna give us more handling speed and also more range. After that we have the red dot 2, which is also gonna increase our range and handling speed. And lastly we have the red dot micro, which is going to increase once again our range and handling speed. So all the sights are actually pretty good on this fusion rifle. You're definitely going to be looking for the red dot micro, which gives you the most increase to your range, while also giving you some pretty good handling speed. Or the red dot 2 MOA, which also gives you some pretty good range and fantastic handling speed. The other 2, well, they're not terrible. They're not as good as the red dot micro or the red dot 2. So these ones are the sights that you're definitely going to be going for. Alright, so now let's take a look at the magazine perks. And the first one that we have is accelerated coils, which is going to give us a faster charge time, but it's also going to decrease our impact, so it's going to reduce our damage. And I feel that accelerated coils just kind of makes the fusion rifles feel a lot less consistent, so I usually try to avoid accelerated coils. Next up we have enhanced battery for an increased magazine size. After that we have an ionized battery for also an increased magazine size, but a penalty to our reload speed. Basically it's the worst version of enhanced battery, so if you're looking for a magazine perk, enhanced battery is definitely going to be the one to go with. After that we have liquid coils, which is going to increase our impact, but it's going to slow down our charge rate, making charging the weapon even slower. And while making an already slow charging fusion rifle even slower sounds kinda bad, it actually makes the weapon just feel a lot more consistent thanks to that extra impact. Liquid coils allows you to completely max out your impact, and I feel that it just makes the fusion rifles feel a lot more consistent and you will be getting more one-shot kills with liquid coils. After that we have particle repeater, which is going to increase our stability, which is not bad. Stability and range are 2 of the stats that you're definitely going to be looking for a fusion rifle. And lastly we have projection fuse, which increases our range. Also, like I just said, range is also a good stat that you're looking for. So for your magazine perk, what I definitely recommend that you go for is for liquid coils, just so you get more consistent one-shots. But if you can't get lucky enough with liquid coils, you're looking for some particle repeater for more stability, or some projection fuse for the extra range. Alright, now we're getting to the good perks, which are going to be the trade perks. And the first one that we have is under pressure, which is going to improve the stability and accuracy on the weapon as the magazine gets lower. And I actually really like under pressure on the fusion rifles. On your final shot of the magazine, it turns pretty much any fusion rifle that you have into just a laser. It's amazing, and under pressure is definitely a top tier perk for the fusion rifles. Next up we have firmly planted, which is going to increase our stability, eye handling, and our accuracy. All of those when we're firing when crouched. Firmly planted is definitely very good. You definitely see the increase to your accuracy and stability. The thing about it is that a lot of people tend not to crouch too much with the fusion rifles. That's why I tend to recommend under pressure a little bit more. But if you can get used to the playstyle always crouching, so you can take advantage of the accuracy, and stability from firmly planted, you may actually love this perk with the fusion rifles, and they do pretty good with it. After that, we have auto loading holster, which is gonna automatically reload your weapon once you put the weapon away. This one's pretty good, not bad. Just having your weapon auto reloaded can never be bad. After that, we have moving target, which is gonna increase your movement speed and target acquisition while moving and aiming down sights. This one is actually not that bad, but when you compare it to some of the other ones like firmly planted and under pressure, it just doesn't really stack up against them. And the final perk that we have in the weapon is threat detector, which shows you when you're about to get aimed with a shotgun. This perk is not really that great on the fusion rifle. You usually want to stay away from people anyways, so threat detector I don't find it to be the most useful on the fusion rifles. What you definitely want to go for on this column of the first 3 perks is under pressure and firmly planted. I just feel that those will give you the most out of your fusion rifle. Alright, so now let's move on to the final column of perks. And the first one that we have is backup plan, which is going to give you more handling speed to switch to the weapon. And once you switch to your fusion rifle, you're going to have a reduced charge time for a short period of time, basically allowing you to do one shot super quickly after switching to it, so you can blow away those shotgun rushers rushing you. So this is pretty much what the perk is basically about. You're switching quickly to your fusion rifle and blowing whatever's in front of you away. It can be a pretty good perk, and if that sounds like something that you want to do with your fusion rifle, this is definitely going to be a perk for you. After that, we have high impact reserves, which is going to give us a bit of extra damage at the lower end of our magazine. It's not a super crazy improvement to our damage, but we will get a couple of extra points of damage. And it can make a difference between getting a kill and not getting a kill. So sometimes high impact reserves can be a good thing, especially if you're pairing it up with under pressure, since you have both perks active and you're going to be able just to snipe people. After that, we have rangefinder, which is going to give us more range when we're aiming down sights, which is always going to be the case with the fusion rifles anyways. So basically it's just a bit of extra range. Extra range can never hurt a fusion rifle, so that's also why this one is a pretty solid perk. After that, we have tap the trigger, which will grant a short period of increased stability and accuracy on the initial trigger pull. And tap the trigger is actually an amazing perk that you can get on a fusion rifle. You basically have the increased stability and accuracy every time you pull the trigger on every shot, since it takes so long to charge between them. So you can pretty much activate it every single shot, and every single shot take advantage of that extra stability and accuracy. Tap the trigger is an amazing perk on the fusion rifles that you should definitely try to get. And then the final perk that we have is Demolitionist, which will give you back some grenade energy when you get a kill with this weapon. And this one's okay. It's not super amazing. I don't think it's as good as the 4 other perks. But if you really like having your grenade all the time, maybe you will actually like this one. And for this final column of perks, I'm definitely going to be recommending Tap the Trigger. You wanna find some Tap the Trigger. That's the best one you can get. But keep in mind that rangefinder, high impact reserves, and backup plan are also good. They're used not on the level of Tap the Trigger, but they're also pretty good. Alright, so now let's move on to the grenade launcher. And we're going to be doing the grenade launcher a little bit different. Instead of going through every single perk, we're just going to go through the best perks that I think that you should get on this weapon. So let me know in the comments below if you like this method or you like the way that we did the fusion rifle instead. But anyways, let's get started with our first set of perks, which are going to be the barrels. And the thing that we're looking for with our barrels is just perks that don't really touch our blast radius. With this grenade launcher, we already have max blast radius at 55. So we're just looking for barrels that increase some of our other stats. Something like our velocity, our handling, stuff like that. So the best ones that you're definitely going to be looking for are quick launch and smart drift control. Smart drift control will give you handling, velocity, stability, and recoil direction. Sure, you won't really use the recoil direction and the stability, but you are going to increase your velocity and your handling a bit without really touching your blast radius, which is definitely what we want. Another good one is quick launch, which once again increases our handling speed and our velocity. This one's actually the one that I would go for. This one seems like the best one where we get the most stats without really losing any blast radius. And if you can get quick launch or smart drift control, there's also linear compensator, which once again will increase our stability and also our velocity. It also considers an increase to blast radius, but since we already hit the cap, that's not really gonna do anything for us. So those are the ones that you're gonna be looking for your barrels and your grenade launcher. Next up, for the magazine perks, there's only 2 good ones that you should be looking for, and those are spike grenades, which will increase the weapon's damage on direct hits and also give you a little bit more stability, and high velocity rounds, which is gonna increase the reload speed, which is pretty good since we only have 1 shot, and also it's gonna increase your velocity, which is also a very good thing because you want to have as much velocity as you can on these grenade launchers. So these are the 2 perks that you're gonna be looking for in this column. The ones that you definitely want to avoid are gonna be blinding grenades and the concussion grenades, because they just destroy your blast radius. No matter what you put on your grenade launcher, you will never get out of 5 blast radius that you get by equipping blinding grenades or concussion grenades. It is just terrible. Next up, for our first trait perk, the trait perks are not super amazing on this grenade launcher, but we do have quick draw, which is gonna increase our handling speed, and it's gonna make switching to the weapon a lot easier and a lot faster. Quick draw is definitely a really good one, and one that I really like, especially if you're playing with a playstyle where you just kind of pull the grenade launcher every once in a while to damage enemies. Quick draw is just gonna play perfectly with it. Now moving on to the final trait perks, we actually have a couple of good ones. The first one is auto-loading holster, which is automatically gonna reload your weapon once you put it away. This one, once again, plays very well with a playstyle where you just kind of damage an enemy with your grenade launcher and then finish them off with your primary, since by the time that you have to use your grenade launcher again, it's going to be auto-reloaded, so you don't really have to reload your grenade launcher. All that you gotta do is just make sure it has ammo, and you're going to be ready to use it for the next gunfight. And the other good perk is also rangefinder, which is going to increase the projectile speed, and by that, it doesn't mean the actual speed of the projectile, it just means that the arc that the grenade does won't be as severe. It will go a bit more in a straight line. Maybe not as straight as something like Mountaintop, but it will go in a bit of a straighter line. And while that doesn't sound too great, it can actually be pretty good, especially if enemies are farther away. But it will take a little bit of time to get used to it. But I think once you get used to it, you're definitely gonna like rangefinder. That's what pretty much happened to me. At first I didn't really like the perk, but after using it for a couple of days and getting used to it, I actually started really enjoying it. So those are the 2 perks that you definitely want to look for on the final column: rangefinder and auto-loading holster. And that is the grenade launcher, Orewing Maul. This probably most of you guys didn't really reach this point, because once you hear grenade launcher, like probably half of the people watching this video just bailed. But anyways, let me know in the comments below, which way do you like better when I go over the perks? Do you like the grenade launcher way better, or do you like the way that we went over the fusion rifle perks? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys aren't already, and I'll see you all in the Ironbanner. Good luck to you guys, and good luck getting those god rolls.